key challenge in so much of our public safety approach is there's too much of a focus on what is the budget right now and how much of that budget is going to policing versus to community investments, instead of thinking about what are the things that we're doing over the long term to generate a safer society. Too often, we think of our public safety system as only law enforcement or only crime response, and not sufficiently as mental health resources, as community violence intervention workers, as social workers, as the people who are sort of really responsible for the sort of well-being side of safety, not just the crime response side of safety. Within California, at the state level, I think there's a huge opportunity to expand how the state thinks about and invests in non-law enforcement responses for public safety. Because law enforcement agencies are being asked to do things that are not really appropriate things for them to be doing. It's not a good use of their time to come and tow a vehicle that's blocking someone's driveway. It's not a good use of their time to respond to a non-criminal mental health crisis that an unhoused person may be having in someone's neighborhood, or a person who is sleeping on the sidewalk that makes people feel uncomfortable but isn't actually posing a risk to public safety. And yet we're expecting our law enforcement agencies to respond to all of these things that are just not a good use of their time, some of which they don't have the kind of training that would be appropriate or necessary for them to do. And then that's diverting critical resources from the things that they can do well if they have the time and capacity, such as solving violent crime. There's a huge long-term savings if we can reduce crime through a more effective and more comprehensive set of public safety interventions. So we did an analysis of the cost of gun violence for the city of Oakland, and the estimate was that for every homicide that happens in Oakland, local taxpayers spend about approximately $4 million. So it's not all at once, because that cost is spread over 30, 40 years, but the cost of the police response, the emergency response, the crisis response, the hospitalization and medical response, the victim and survivor benefit response, the prosecution, and if there is ultimately a conviction, all of those things are incredibly expensive. For a non-fatal shooting, our estimates were it was approximately $1 million per non-fatal shooting to the taxpayer over the long term. And so if we could actually just reduce violence by 10, 20, 30, 40, like in Oakland, 50%, the cost savings could be reinvested into the kinds of community responses that have proven effective, like the mentorship work, like the community violence intervention, like some of the crisis response and alternative response services.